Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Great to have you with me here today. Can't wait to dive into our Friday review, where each and every Friday I bring you the best of the week. Typically something that I'm enjoying right now, whether it's a technology-based gadget, a book that I'm reading or have been recommended to review. I'm going through, of course, each and every Friday for this year, our lab results, meaning that, okay, you're taking this result, you're taking this lab. What does it actually mean? What does it mean in real-world terminology? So we'll be going through specific thyroid antibodies today. And then, of course, all the different items that have taken place in the practice and with Equilibrium Nutrition over the past week. So let's get right into the show. The first thing that I want to talk about, first and foremost, we welcomed in our 5,000th member to CabralSupportGroup.com, which is a completely free online Facebook private group page where we have people come in each and every day, and the community just continues to grow. I remember just about 2 years or so when we started the group, there was 73 people. I remember that. And I said, okay, we're going to open the group, and it's going to be for people that want, really support on doing their seasonal detoxes. So I said, how can I support people? How can we really walk them through the process? And we were answering questions in there, and then it started to broaden like a lot of things do. And people had questions about their lab test or what lab they should run, or they have this specific symptom, or, they're just sharing their wins. They're sharing their successes. It has absolutely amazed me how this group has grown, but never once wavering from the quality of the members in there, meaning like the great human beings that make up this group. So I'm just very proud to say that I'm a member of this group, I'm a part of this group, and love the support that everyone in that group shows each other. And of course, we're happy to answer your questions there on a day-to-day basis. So, it's not we're doing a consultation in there, but we're there to help you, get started, find that answer, maybe search back to a previous podcast, and then ask the group for questions as well. So we really look at it as this is a community-based group. We were going to charge, a monthly fee for the health coaching in there, but really we want this service to be out there for everyone. We love how the group has grown. So I always say this, get support, ask your questions. Myself, the group, we're all there to help, but then also give support at the same time. Ask a question, but then also answer some questions and show that support. So really just very, very impressed, super happy with how that has grown. And just thank you to everyone that's a part of that group. I did pop in, did a quick video just saying thank you, how grateful I am for everyone. And what we're doing just in celebration of our 5,000th member, our 5,000 members, everyone that's been there from day one, we are doing free shipping site-wide on anything. Free shipping starting now, and actually starting yesterday through this Sunday. So check that out. Free shipping at equilibriumnutrition.com in celebration of our 5,000th member. All right. Next up, we have, I want to share this with you. We are going to be doing a lab shout out of the month, teaching you a little bit more about it. We get questions each and every day, not a question, not a couple questions, but a lot of questions, meaning like, what's the difference with this lab between this lab? When would I want to do this? Who is this good for? So I need to do more teaching on these for sure. I will do that. Absolutely. I've talked about each on previous podcasts, probably been a couple hundred podcasts, right? So you can definitely tune in to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in what lab test you're looking for more information. We can answer that at CabralSupportGroup.com. But every month we're going to highlight one lab. It's, for right now, we're doing the food sensitivity test. So one of the reasons why the food sensitivity test is such an all-star is that it gives you that concrete data that shows what is creating inflammation in your body from a delayed reaction. That means what's creating the potentially headaches or skin rashes or brain fog or fatigue or joint pain or any of those things a day or two after you eat the food. They don't cause the bloating. They're not going to cause the immediate hives or itchiness right away. Those are more IgE or IgA or cytokine-mediated reactions to food. What I'm talking about right now are the delayed reaction. That doesn't cause the GI upset really, but it causes inflammation in the body that can come out through many different ways. So I've always been such a huge fan of that test. I just did it as part of my own Big 5 labs just a couple weeks back. And for me, there wasn't a lot of new surprises, but I always test to see if there is. And I'll tell you right now. So one that started to come back a little bit higher than I would have liked, even though I don't eat a lot of it, is gluten. So that would be wheat-based products with gluten as the main reactant to there. Now, keep in mind, I did test for it though. I did what I always tell people to do. If you want to see if you're sensitive to that food, have it a couple times the 2 days before your lab test. But another interesting one, and I stay away from it because I've tested positive for this many times in the past, is almonds. And I know a lot of people, I used to live on almonds from about 21, 22 years old to 28 years old. And then I started getting more into the food sensitivity testing world. And for sure, actually, I tested almonds when I was 19, 20, when I first did my functional medicine lab testing, and it's always been high. So almonds for me are one of those foods that are just not compatible with my body. My body's just sensitive to them and has been now for quite some time. So it's a great test, amazing test. And so, what we're doing right now is simply giving away. We're trying to get more attention. We want people to understand the power of functional medicine labs. You can run this with your local practitioner. Typically, your MD, your PCP is not going to run this. This is not that type of lab, meaning that it's not going to diagnose disease. What it does is look for underlying causes of inflammation, which, by the way, is what causes dis-ease in the long run. But that's a story for another day. So what we're doing right now over at Equilibrium Nutrition is we're basically giving away a free bottle of our daily digestive enzymes. This is a product that we have used for many, many years. I'm talking about going way back to when I first started in practice. It's one of the top nutritional supplements that most naturopathic doctors, functional medicine doctors, integrative health practitioners use in their practice because it helps you break down food better, meaning that it helps break down the gluten and the dairy and all of those other types of foods. Now, the other thing is it helps break down all carbs, all fats, all proteins, which means that you need to spend less of your energy breaking down those foods. So pretty spectacular overall, huge fan of the product. And you better believe on the holidays too, we have big bottles of that and the gluten and dairy support right on that table. Okay, so you can head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com. You have free shipping, and you also have that great food sensitivity plus the free daily digestive enzyme support, which is a almost $50 value. Okay, just two more things, and I want to get into some of my recommendations for the week. The first one is this. A lot of questions since we did not really open our integrative health practitioner in April. It was for friends and family only of our current practitioners and those in the integrative health practitioner course or certification. We will, however, be opening with the launch of our brand new software platform. We've upgraded everything. We've only been open now 6 months, but we still decided to upgrade. And that's because what we really believe is that as an integrative health practitioner, you're constantly trying to better your best. It's the old principle of Kaizen. It's every day just getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So we started off with a great software. It's one of the main teaching softwares out there. But we went and we found an even better one. We integrated our emails to you. We're integrating all of our teaching-based lessons. We have some pretty remarkable things going on over at Integrative Health Practitioner. And remember, this is not just for someone that's a nurse practitioner, acupuncturist, or current health coach, or personal trainer, or doctor, whatever it might be. This is for people without experience as well. You can take the course, or you can sign up to become a certified health coach when you pass all of the different lessons and quizzes in there. So if you want just the knowledge for yourself to learn how to heal yourself and heal others, those in your family, it's great as a course. If you want to take it to the next level, potentially as a part-time career or a full-time career, or as an add-on to one of your current certifications, you can do that. Head on over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org for the details, and we will alert you when we open on May 6th. As always, we'll be opening for just 100 members. And then we will be closing those doors, taking care of those 100 members, and that will be it. So hopefully you check that out. Always a lot of fun. And we have an amazing online Facebook group too for the integrative health practitioners. We do our live monthly calls. I do a live Q&A with that group. It's just exclusive to the integrative health practitioners. So that is something that I love sharing with you. And the last update is this. And we've gotten a lot of questions on this. So this is more just like a teaser than anything else. It's a teaser for me because I don't get to have these for another 3 or 4 months, just like you. So we just got in our newest samples. They're like our 6th sample revision of bars, nutritional bars. These are whole food bars. They are absolutely amazing. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not even going to tell the ingredients in them, but I'll tell you this. We've worked very hard on these bars. About 6 months now in development, and it's going to take another 4 to 5 months before we get them to you. So it'll be essentially a year from when we started to do the pulling together of the formula, the taste testing, all of that. And it's been intense, we'll put it this way, but this is what I was looking for. They are allergen-free, so they are school safe, nut-free, so I could give them to my girls to take to school. I can use them with people on health-based protocols. They are paleo. They are vegan. They have a balanced protein in them. They're not just all dates, And again, I'm nothing against a date-based bar, but they're not just that, just that gummy date consistency. Again, I'm not against that, but we didn't want to make another one of those bars because those bars are already out there. So we balance the protein, we balance the carbs, we balance the fats. They're very satiating. They have a good amount of fiber in them. So they're absolutely going to be fantastic, which is what I look for them for as a travel or mid-afternoon snack. And if you're ever like in a bind where you can't have a good meal and you have to miss that whole food meal like lunch or dinner, you're able to have 1 or 2 of these bars as a meal replacement. I would go with 2, but someone who just wants a smaller snack can absolutely do 1. So I'm excited about this. I really am. I mean, it's going to be 4 to 5 more months, but since we've been getting so many questions, I did want to let you know. And we're hoping to launch with all 4 flavors. It might be 2 to 3 to start, and then the next flavors will come in a few months. But I'm hoping all 4 flavors will be there soon. And if you want to help vote on some of the flavors, head on over to cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our online community. Those are the people that we go to with all of our feedback and questions, and we want you to tell us. You asked, like, what's the next product? We did daily nutritional support chocolate. You wanted the detox in chocolate. We did it. You named the new daily fruit and vegetable blend the crisp apple. You also chose the book cover for the rain barrel effect. So it's an amazing group that I really lean on, and we'll be voting on some bar flavors over there as well. So check that out. All right. And the last item is this. Germany has officially banned all incoming United States nutritional supplements coming in from the U.S. that is U.S. bound. So we might be able to find some workarounds by different warehouses and delivery mechanisms over in Europe. But for right now, I can tell you this. Unfortunately, we are not able to ship nutritional supplements to Germany. We're still trying to work out the labs. It's not our want. We didn't choose this, but it's a German's customs. They're not allowing in the nutritional supplements from a U.S. bound shipping station. So that is the latest and greatest. Just wanted to share that. All right. Now let's move on to some of my recommendations and reviews for the week. Every week, it's not every week, but let's say 2 to 3 Tuesdays a month, my family likes to do tacos on Tuesday. A lot of people do this, right? It's a fun thing called Taco Tuesdays, and you get to essentially make a really healthy meal out of any ingredients that you would like. You can choose it to be meat-based for paleo. You could choose fish to put in the fish tacos. You could choose vegan with, well, whatever you would like. You could do black beans. You could do chickpeas. You could do whatever it is that you're into for your protein. And then from there, you can add in sliced avocado or guacamole. You can do shredded lettuce. You could do different types of hot sauces or salsa. So many great things that you can add. You can add, I'm not a big promoter of cows-based cheese, but if you wanted to add in your own vegan-based cheese or other types of things, you're welcome to do that. Either way. But the nice thing is with tacos, you can really make them your own. The problem is, what are you going to use for a wrap? Or what are you going to use for a shell? I used to use a lot more of the blue corn taco shells. They're organic and I could get it, Make sure that it's non-GMO corn. It's a little bit more of an older strain of corn, being the blue corn. But the problem is, I do a lot of organic acids lab testing, and I see a lot of people with higher levels of mold. And I was exposed to mold. I actually did a video on this. I think it was almost a year ago now. A hotel I was staying at had terrible, terrible mold in the HVAC and on the carpets. And I really had no other place to stay. I tried to keep the windows open, but it was pretty bad. So I did a mold test. It shows I was exposed to some mold. And again, these are never things that you worry about. But if you know what you're dealing with, then you know how to handle it. So I did my mold protocol, feeling great. But the problem is, corn is one of the larger facilitators of mold, meaning mold grows quite easily on corn. So what I did was just really cut that out. I didn't do a lot before, but some corn, blue corn, tacos, things like that every once in a while. What I just tried was the Siete Cassava wraps. And the Siete Cassava wraps are made from cassava flour. So we just use this. My wife used to make cassava wraps herself. And instead of her spending like an extra 30 minutes to 40 minutes eat all of the cassava wraps, we tried these out for the first time. So instead of her making them, we bought these, put them in the oven for about 5 minutes just to warm them up. And they were pretty fantastic. They really were. I posted it on Instagram. Hopefully you're following along at Stephen Cabral. And so many other people just reached out. They said, I love these wraps. So it seems unanimous that people are really enjoying these. They, I know, are made with a little bit of coconut in there. They're made with some apple cider vinegar. They are made with cassava flour. The only one ingredient, and if you're listening to this, Siete, I would love if you could replace that xanthan gum. I know that you need something to hold them together. I get it. I understand it. I'm probably not going to stop eating them because of that. It just, people don't really understand, if you're not in like the food making business, that you need something that holds things together, right? Because you can't hold flour and water together. It's just not going to happen. But, one thing that we use that you might want to look into if you're listening is guar gum, which can actually be a very beneficial thing for the gut. It can act as a nice prebiotic and is pretty healthy overall. A lot of people add it as a prebiotic to certain products. So that is that. I'll tell you right now, they were pretty fantastic. And if you're looking for a healthy alternative and a healthy meal per week that I really think that the whole family would like, meaning they can make their own taco however they want. So that's what we let our two girls do, and myself, my wife as well. All right. Next up, this was a reader request that I look at the book and review the book, The Chronic Stress Crisis, tagline, How Stress is Destroying Your Health and What You Can Do to Stop It. And this is by Dr. William Timmons. He's a naturopathic doctor, and he wrote a really nice, concise book on stress. So I've, read quite a number of books on stress dating back from when I had Addison's. So this was a book I said, oh, okay, someone recommended it. They liked it. They want to know what I thought. I needed a few new books to read. So I did purchase this. It's under 200 pages. It's very concise. And it's actually a very nice introductory book on stress, all the different types of stress that your body may come under, and some good recommendations on how you will be able to decrease that stress on the body. So if you've read The Rain Barrel Effect and you want more information just on like the stress of the body, you can absolutely check that out. I will put a link today. I'll put a link for everything. For the cassava wraps, I'll put a link for IHP. I'll put a link for the support group and this book, The Chronic Stress Crisis by Dr. Timmons. And today's podcast show notes will be at stephencabral.com/1176. All right. Last item of the day is our lab results. Lab results. These are something you're going to hear more and more about. This is not a passing trend. Finding out what's going on inside of your body that you can't see from the outside is the wave of the future of health. It's true health care. Sick Care are running your blood work labs once a year and having a doctor tell you, let's just wait and see. It's starting to get there. Let's keep an eye on it. That is not what healthcare is all about. What essentially conventional medicine, it's not your doctor's fault. This is how conventional medicine is practiced. What conventional medicine is basically saying is this. We can't do anything to help you stay healthy or get healthy. But what we can do is when you get sick, when you have a disease, we can then prescribe a pharmaceutical drug that won't get you healthy. That's for sure. But what it will do is mask the symptoms of your poor health. Now, again, that's called sick care. Let's not call it health care. Our insurance should be called sick care insurance because it does not pay for anything healthy. It doesn't pay for labs that show you what's wrong on an underlying level. It doesn't pay for good, healthy food. It doesn't pay for nutritional supplements. And it only subsidizes a little, depending on your plan, your gym membership or personal training, personal trainer costs. So really, it's not healthcare, it's sick care. And unfortunately, we all need it because of catastrophic type events and, things happen. I get it. We all need our health insurance. However, wouldn't it be nice if we got some of that money back if we didn't use it? Or wouldn't it be nice if, because we did stay healthy, we kept ourselves healthy, we had to pay less money in the first place? Like any of those things would be great with me because we have it just in case, but we're doing all the things to stay healthy. We don't need, we're running our subclinical labs. We have everything that we need to stay healthy, and that's really what it's all about. So, all right, well, here's the thing. More and more people are learning and discovering what true health is all about. And they're running things like the thyroid adrenal hormone test. And one of those numbers, and again, you can run this with your local doctor as well. But we're looking at something inside of the thyroid or with the thyroid inside the body called TPO antibodies. And this is an important one to think about. And here's why. Thyroid peroxidase, which is what TPO stands for, is a marker for an autoimmune dysfunction inside your body. That means that you are going to be diagnosed if you have a higher TPO antibody level. On our lab test, it's above a 150, that it would be considered high. From a functional medicine perspective, above a 50, we're starting to get a little worried, and we know that we need to work on it now before you actually pass 150. So here's the important thing, is that it signals a dysfunction and imbalance of the immune system, either towards Graves' disease or Hashimoto's. And the way that you're then able to tell if you have Hashimoto's or Graves is typically the differentiator is in the TSH. With Graves, we'll often see a TSH below 0.5. And with Hashimoto's, we'll see it above a 5, or in functional medicine, above a 2, 2.5. Really important to look at that. Now, keep in mind that this is one marker, and it's very important to distinguish. It's very important to keep in mind that it's positive in 95% of those people with Hashimoto's, but only about 50 to 80% of those people with Graves. So it's an even greater marker for Hashimoto's than Graves. Graves we need to look at from a much larger perspective. It's less common for Graves. It's also it's diagnosed less as well. So we really want to keep an eye on that. A lot of people believe that it's a marker for cancer, but that's not necessarily true. We get a lot of worried people that we speak with, right? They run a lab and they said, I read that it's a marker for cancer. That's not necessarily true. It is actually not true at all. It's a marker for inflammation. It's an inflammation of the thyroid, right? It's an antibody. It's an autoimmune-based dysfunction that shows that antibodies and your immune system are actually attacking the thyroid. Now, here's the interesting thing. You can get the immune system to no longer attack the thyroid. That is possible. It is absolutely possible to rebalance the body in order for the immune system to then become functional, not dysfunctional, and you no longer then have Hashimoto's or Graves. So I want you to think about this. You do not automatically have to have Hashimoto's or Graves. You also do not automatically have to have your thyroid deteriorated from this autoimmune-based condition. And you also don't have to have your thyroid removed if there's no signs of cancer and that wasn't necessarily recommended. So really, you have options. You absolutely do. And the last thing I'm going to tell you before I show you how you can run this and what you should run with it is that TPO antibodies, your thyroid peroxidase, is different than your thyroglobulin antibody, okay? So the thyroglobulin antibody, typically written on a lab test as TG-AB, so thyroglobulin, TG, antibody, AB, that targets thyroglobulin specifically. So that's the storage of thyroid hormones. It's different, but it can still be an autoimmune-based process, but different than TPO, which is typically tested for. We test TPO, more common to see, easier to find as a differentiator, and we run that. We absolutely must run that along with TSH, thyroid-stimulating hormone, along with free T4, T3, and then, of course, we're running that TPO, right? We're running the TPO number, which is your TPO antibodies. So it's nice to run reverse T3, but the truth is that it can be very expensive, and sometimes it yields irrelevant results based on the exact moment in time that it was run. So, for example, if there wasn't, let's say, a larger stressor at that moment in the body, now there might not be as high a level as reverse T3. So really, it's still great to run. Don't get me wrong. The more data, the better, always in my opinion. That's the truth. I'm a database person. So, but if you can run your TSH, your free T4, your T3, and your TPO antibodies, if you're worried about your thyroid, that's absolutely the gold standard. Now, in addition to that, would I love you to look at your cortisol numbers? Of course, because then you can see how stress is affecting the thyroid. And I'll tell you, if you run the thyroid adrenal hormone, you also get your progesterone and estrogen. A lot of women we see as estrogen dominant. And then we can look at testosterone and DHEA. Shows you what part of the stress cycle you are in. Spoke about that earlier this week on the podcast. Hopefully you tuned to that, the signs of burnout. And then also on this test, if I didn't mention it, you look at your vitamin D as well as your insulin and hemoglobin A1C. A remarkable, amazing test. Of course, you can check that out whenever you'd like at equilibriumnutrition.com. And you can run it there. You get my recommendations. You get a call with any lab test that you run at equilibriumnutrition.com. I read your lab and you get recommendations by myself and my health coaching team. You get a call with my health coaching team. And pretty amazing. You get your own personalized plan. But this is also a lab that if you chose to, you can run it with one of your local practitioners. So we always give you the option. The goal is to give you options to take back control of your health and to truly figure out what the root cause of your dis-eases are. That's what it's all about. So hopefully today's podcast was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, have an amazing weekend and be sure to tune into this weekend's Cabral House Calls. Take care, everyone. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.